Yeah, it's CC, CEO. Wanna change your life? Come see me, yo. I'ma teach you how to build up wealth for your family, not just for yourself. I'm a bestseller, a house flipper, a businesswoman, a go-getter, a big investor, a gold builder that could teach you to get richer like millions, baby. You really about to fill your savings. You about to have multiple streams to pass your children, baby. Let me teach you to get your credit on track in the long run. You'll make it all back at Catalyst and watch it all psychological black-owned firm, but we ain't all black.
Oh my God, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Constance Carter. I feel like I'm low. And this is the Grow Your Money podcast, where we talk about ways that you can grow your money and not blow your money, because if you blow your money, guess what? It ain't a damn thing funny. What's up to all the people? Shout out to all the people who are waiting for us to come live. Listen, Thursdays are always a treat because I have my very favorite doctor on here. And we were just having some personal conversations, life conversations, and we lost track of time. And then Jahar was like, yo, it's 11:05. So, but we have, we were just kind of chatting about life. And look at, I'm putting my lotion on. And, there's a lot of people who are stressed and, dealing with burnout and success. There's all these things that come along with success, the stress that comes along with it, how your cortisol levels raise and all the things that happen, and what happens to you physically, in terms of your lifespan. These are things that I believe are important. And, Black people, we are so resilient. We've dealt with trauma in our DNA for centuries. And there's this thing called post-traumatic slave syndrome, where there are studies have shown by Dr. Joy DeGruy. I don't know if you read the book. It was a great book, and I've seen her lecture as well. But she talks about how this trauma is in our DNA that's passed down from generation to generation. So you have this generational trauma, right? But then you have the outside traumas that come along with work and kids and pressure, society, and you have that, right? Because everybody has those stresses and those pressures. But then add being Black on top of that, and racism on top of that, and all the things that come along with that, it could really lead to a shorter lifespan. And so we want to have a conversation with Dr. Jones about that. But before we do, you guys know what it is. So if this is your first time here, my name is Constance Carter, and I love to have conversations, intellectually stimulating conversations about money, finance, health, wealth, all those things, relationships, those things that which affect us as Black people. The reason why I come here and I talk about these things, because all of these factors contribute to the success of our community. And, there was a study that said in the year 2053, Black median wealth is going to be a 0. And there's so many ways to get to wealth. Wealth is not just money. It's your health. It's your mind. It's your body. It's your spirit. And it's funny because on my Facebook page, I had posted this video when I was walking around my neighborhood, and I posted this video, and I was like, it feels really good to, be in this neighborhood where you have 88% of the people are Black and they're homeowners. That's Black excellence, right? That's beautiful. It's Black excellence. Home ownership is Black excellence, whether it's $100,000 home or $1 million home. But it's funny because the responses that I got from that post from some Black people were like, that's not Black excellence. Then people, they stingy and they don't support other Black. Like, how do you know? And then the white people were like, I call bullshit. Black people don't live like that. And I said, that's the reason why I posted this, because what's been portrayed for us is this idea that we live in the ghettos and in drug infested neighborhoods and the trauma and all those things. And we are not a monolith. We're all these things. So wealth is not just about the money or the houses you have or the cars you drive. It's about how healthy you are. It's about being able to spend quality time with your family. It's about, are you giving back to your community? It's about those optimal relationships that you have that with your children. It's about living optimally, right? So that's the reason why we like to come live here. So if you're new here, that's why I'm here every single day. So if you're new here, put in the comments that, it's your first time watching. And if it is, welcome. Thank you for watching. And for the people who are here every day, welcome them. And then for those who already know, you already know what it is. We like to know where you're watching from. So I see Tamara, she's watching from South Carolina. What's happening? Good to see you, sis. Who else we got? I see you, Miss Sophia from Stockton, California. What's happening, Mr. Booker from Fort Worth? Who else we got? And I know we have people who watch from all over the world. Dr. Jones, you ready for Dr. Jones, huh, Josephine? So here's the thing. This is what I want you to do today. We're going to do something a little different. I want you, we're going to have an Ask Dr. Jones segment on here. So we're going to go through your questions. So put some questions together that you might have for what's up? What's that? Michael Beecham? That's my cousin. For Dr. Jones, if you have any medical questions that she may be able to answer right here, we're going to have a segment where she's just going to answer questions. She ain't even know that. I just made that up right now. So if you have a question for Dr. Jones, put it in the comments, because sometimes I'll see you have questions and I'll look back at the comments later and I'm like, oh shit, we missed some questions. So we'll have a segment on here where Dr. Jones is going to answer some of your questions. And that's why she comes here, not only to educate you, but to make sure that you are healthy and wealthy. All right. And then finally, if you are a Black-owned business, if you are a Black-owned business, you know a Black-owned business, we love to support Black-owned businesses. So if you know of a Black-owned business that you want to support, you want to shout out, put it in the comments and put where they can be reached. Like if they have a website or if they have an address. How do we support these Black-owned businesses? Because it's important that we support Black-owned businesses, because nobody else is going to support us. Nobody else is going to save us but us. So we need each other to survive. So if you are a Black-owned business, you have a Black-owned business, you know a Black-owned business, put it in the chat. All right. What's up, Cassandra, first timer? We appreciate you being here. Y'all give it up. Shout out to Cassandra. You know what? I should have my little sound effects already ready. Let me see if I got a sound effect. Shout out to Cassandra. Anyway, what's up, Rob from Philly? You kind of cute, Rob. What's happening? Anyway, I'm just kidding. All right, Dr. Jones. Let's bring Miss Dr. Jones on here so we can start the conversation about Dr. Jones, stress. Yeah. Everybody's talking about chasing the bag. Everybody's talking about chasing the bag, but nobody is really talking about what happens when chasing it leaves you like stressed out or too tired to enjoy it. Because you know what? Burnout is real. And what happens is it's costing us so much more than just your sleep. It's costing you money. It's costing you opportunities. It's costing you years off your life. So, I want to have a conversation with you, and let's pull back the curtain, Dr. Jones, on how stress is silently taxing your health and your wealth. Because if you don't have good health, guess what? You're not going to have good wealth. And we're going to give you the playbook of how to fight back on this. So this is going to be part therapy. It's going to be part financial literacy, but it's going to be 100% real talk, because your money don't mean a thing if you can't really enjoy it, if you're too tired to carry it. All right. So Dr. Jones, there are a lot of people who carry this stress. What do you think about the
Uh-oh, you're stuck.
You can't see me?
You stuck. Oh, now you're back.
Okay. So, but I was saying, okay, let me go back. So burnout costs businesses $300 billion a year in lost productivity. Medical bills are the number one cause of bankruptcy. So we hear, remember I don't know if you remember Puffy, when everybody loved Puffy, he was talking about, I'll sleep when I die. And so there was this grind culture that everybody had to be on the grind. You have to be the go-to. We out here trying to hustle because we got to get it while we can get it. And that is taxing on our bodies. So how does it leak into all the things like stress? How does it hit your body, especially when we're such busy people in this country?
So stress is actually bad. There are different types of stress. Number one, there's an acute stress. So say, for instance, you're in a car and somebody slam on brakes in front of you and you're about to hit them. That's an acute stress. And so your body releases cortisol so you can get in that flight and fright mode to try to get away from what the challenge is. And then there are situational stresses like a death of a loved one, a breakup.
Yeah.
These are things that happen, you go through them, you get over it. Then there's chronic stress. And that's what you're talking about. It's the daily grind. It's post-traumatic slave syndrome. It's just always feeling like you're not enough and you have anxiety and you're always on the edge. that's the stress that kills us. Because what it does is it puts you into um, your body in a mode where it's constantly feeling like and hyper vigilant and there this, and you're worried, um, you're always looking for somebody to do you in. You can't sleep, you can't turn your brain off.
Mm-hmm.
It's not healthy because our bodies are ruled by two systems. One is the sympathetic system, and that's the fight, flight. We produce cortisol and epinephrine to speed up your heart rate, to keep you all, and it actually makes you have a narrow focus. You don't get to see the big picture. Then
Right.
the parasympathetic is your rest, digest, calm, lose some weight and sit back and look at the big picture and
Mm,
be calm about it. So what happens is when we misplace our values, because that's what it is misplacing your values or not knowing your values when
yeah.
you begin to let go of self, but you are making the bag. So you see people who have the bag, but they have awful lives. Just because a person has a great home, all the money in the bank, does not mean they're happy.
Right.
A lot of them die young because, okay, you've done all of this, but for what if you can't
Yeah.
enjoy it
What profits you to gain the whole wide world and lose your life?
and lose your life?
Yeah.
So we have to find the balance of this. And
Right.
one of the things what the body considers as stress is things that are challenged, things that makes us anxious. And so how you get around that is things are challenging when you're not prepared, when
Okay.
you over too much to the other side, because we all know that life is hard. People gonna leave, people gonna come, we're gonna miss some deals you're not gonna get, people gonna feel some kind of way about you. But at some point, you need to learn to say no. You don't have to have everything. When is enough enough? And a lot of people don't know the turn off. And that leads to the burnout because every dollar is not a good dollar.
All money ain't good money. That's what we say in Domino's.
There you go.
Damn, Dr. Jones. Okay. And Watani, by the way, don't come on my page with your Trump bullshit, okay? Anyway, I had to tell him off real quick. Anyway, so when you talk about not prioritizing or not saying what you said something because not being prepared.
Not
Being
being
prepared. What does that mean? Not being prepared. How do you prepare yourself?
So, okay. So this is a good time to ask this question. We know taxes are going up. We know food is going up. So how do you prepare for that? Do you sit back and narrow focus from your chronic stress and narrow focus? Oh, I don't have enough money or I'm going to lose my job or da 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 da. No, you don't. These things happen all the time.
Mm,
So what you do is you prepare. You save money. Stop spending. Why are you buying more when you know taxes are going up? And be prepared. Create your nest. And then when you do that, then you don't get so anxious when people act a fool or walk away because guess what? That account that nobody knows about, but you do, you're like, okay, I'm okay.
okay.
You
So
know what I'm saying? And the same
yeah,
thing about food. If you know you're busy or you have all this stuff to do and you won't have time to prepare for food, then take your weekend when you have time and you watching that what people say they speed watch like all of the shows. What is that called?
mm-hmm. I don't speak.
Like you see
Oh, binge.
binge watch. When you binge watch all the show, while you binge watch it, be preparing your food and put it in proportions and it's good food and put it in the freezer, put it in the refrigerator so that when you are stressed out and you coming home, because when you're stressed out, your immune system goes down and you're more likely to choose the wrong stuff
Yeah.
because you look for things that are comfortable. A lot
Yeah.
of things that are comfort to us are not good for us.
Right. That's true. That's true. But see, I think a lot of
If
times,
you're prepared,
people are lazy and they don't think past right now and they don't push themselves outside of their comfort zone to do those things. And then they get stressed out. I know people like that all the time. So people get so caught up in their head and then they get paralyzed and they do nothing. right? And so then when the shit hits the fan, now they're stressed. They're all over the place, and that becomes a problem. That's a whole problem.
That's
And
a whole problem.
yeah,
And
but
then they make all these decisions because when you're stressed,
in that
your
moment,
vision is narrowed. You're focused on what you don't have or what's bothering you instead of stepping back and looking at the big picture. Well, chemically, you can't do that because now your cortisol and your epinephrine, your heart is racing and all of this. So you're not able to focus. So that's why, we'll talk about it later. I'll give you some quick things to do to break that cycle at that one moment to
good
pull you
shit.
back to get back.
Good shit, Dr. Jones. I love it. You know what? So you guys can ask Dr. Jones a question. You can put it in the comments, or listen, we're gonna do something different, Dr. Jones. If they want to come on here with us and they want to get on camera with us, let's have them do that. So let's give them the link so they can get on camera with us in case they want to come on here with us. So I'm gonna put the link in the comments. So wherever you're watching from, there's a link right there. If you want to get on here and you want to ask Dr. Jones a question live, go ahead and ask Dr. You can click on the link and we'll let you come up here and we'll let you ask a question. If not, you can put it in the comments. But if you want to come on live and talk to Dr. Jones, that'll be real fun. So Dr. Jones, somebody said, when is enough? I think it was Brandon said, when is enough enough? Like, how can somebody tell the difference between being tired and like truly being burnt out? Because there's a difference, right?
Yes. When you start to isolate, when people get on your nerve, because when you've had enough, you just tend to retreat into yourself. You lose your pleasures, like things that you used to do, you don't do them anymore. You just feel blah. You have apathy. You don't have apathy anymore. You just feel like I'm overwhelmed. It's overwhelming.
Okay.
And so with that being said, one of the things you could do to help you figure out when is enough is enough. Enough is not determined by other people, it's determined by you. Mm-hmm. You have to know your limits. You have to set your no's. One exercise to do is make yourself say no to something every week. You don't need a lot of people fill their schedules up and then they wonder why they don't have time to exercise. They don't have time to sleep. Why are you filling your schedule up if you can't perform the basic human functions to keep you healthy?
Quit stepping on toes, Dr. Jones. Why you be all up in people's business? When you said when people don't like being bothered, like I am the consummate. What people don't understand is they see lights, camera, action. They see me here, but in person, and then like with people I know, whatever, I'm definitely more outgoing. But if I'm somewhere, I'm in the corner. I don't want to be bothering with nobody, and it's not being stuck up. It's really the introvert in me. But people drain me. So when you said people who don't like being bothered, I got a little nervous real quick. But it's just part of my personality. It's not because I'm burnt out, right? Mm-hmm. But let me ask you this. Let's take a deep dive because I want to know what actually happens to your body when you're stressed out, maybe 24/7. What happens?
So what happens is you begin to have inflammation and then you get cortisol released because your body is just constantly being stressed because of the stress hormone is cortisol. Mm-hmm. It makes you more insulin resistant, so you're more likely to have diabetes. It makes your immune system go down, so you're more likely to have colds and feel sick and feel aches and pains and can't get up and stuffy nose and allergies. And some people actually develop, all type of rashes and things like that. It also causes epinephrine is also released, and that causes you to increase your heart rate, to breathe faster, which can lead to arrhythmias, which can lead to a whole elevated blood pressure. Damn. So now you are actually destroying yourself for $1. Dollar bill, y'all.
Panic attack. I get these really, really, really nasty rashes around my right here. It's like a whole goatee, right around and it is so painful and it is so it's gross. It's disgusting. Like if I take pictures of it every time that happens, and I know when it's getting ready to happen, I feel the cortisol levels increasing, and I feel it happen, and I'm like, please, and I'm praying, I'm meditating, I'm like doing all this, like Jesus, please, God, please take it away. I know it's coming, I know it's coming and there's nothing I can do because something happened that triggered this stress. And then I
Right.
got to go through this whole cycle of 7 days or however long it takes to get rid of this shit. But it is so painful. And so one of the things that Dr. Jones, because I have been going to the doctor, I've been going to urgent care. Like I've been to my primary physician and told him what happened, and nobody could tell me what it was. I just thought it was hives. Dr. Jones told me what it was when I had my one-on-one consultation with her. And like nobody, not my, now she said, this is what it is. This is what you need to take. Like when you feel the onset of that, immediately go ask your doctor for this. And that'll take care of it. You know, you won't have to go through this whole cycle, the 7-day cycle of this happening. But that right there was a gem. So Dr. Jones does this. She does this these consultations. If you go to askdrjones.info,
.j.info.
askdrj.info, she
Yeah.
can actually do a consultation with you where she is helping you to figure out, go through your blood work and figure out all those things, like whatever's going on with your body. She's helped so many people do it. So she is such a great resource. But I'll tell you, that thing right there for me, is there something else that I could do besides, because I'm grounded or I'm meditating, I'm praying, I know what it is, but I have no control over it. Is there anything that I could like maybe naturally do without getting the medication to prevent that from happening when I know it's getting ready to happen?
Well, you got to reduce your stress because it's coming out because of stress. And so one thing, we always talk about on the show is you need to know yourself.
Yeah.
You have to know yourself. So when you know yourself, you know when enough is enough.
Yeah.
You know, say I'm okay with being comfortable where you are. Give yourself gratitude that you are not where you used to be. You are where you are. And when you are healthy, you will get more because you're taking care of yourself. Because more doesn't necessarily mean always be money. More is good health, longer life to make more money. But if you just constantly just grind, that's our microwave society that
Yeah.
we've been pushed in. So our question is,
Is there a specific blood work test I should ask my doctor to take?
well, that depends on, what your issues are. What are you worried about? If you have any medical problems, what is it that you're dealing with? Because
So are there different types of blood tests that you could take?
huh?
There's different type of blood tests that you could take?
Yes, there's not one test for everything. We test
Oh,
for what we're looking for.
well, when I went to the doctor, I just said I want to do my blood work.
Well, they have the general test that just tests all your organs and your immune system. But
And,
then there are a
and
lot
for STDs too.
huh?
And for STDs too.
And STDs too. And pregnancy if you're in that age range.
And pregnancy. Lovely Jared said, I have family members who are diagnosed with sarcoidosis. My daughter has been diagnosed with neurosarcoidosis. What is this and what caused this autoimmune disease?
So autoimmune diseases are caused by your body is actually attacking itself because your immune system is decreased for some reason. It could be chronic stress, it could be what you eat, it could be some unknown things, it could be a virus, but the bodies for some reason has decided to attack itself. And so in the allopathic medical world that I was trained in as a medical doctor, an MD, we treat it with antivirals, we treat it with immunoglobulins, things to stop the immune process and stop the inflammation. In functional medicine, we go deeper and look for the root cause of what happens. And so with that, sometimes we find out it may be related to food allergies. It may be related to other things that are going on in your body that are correctable.
Mm. Wow. So Deborah Wilwin said, is there a cellular blood work test?
There is, but it depends on what you're looking for. It's not. So let me explain why I say these things. A lot of people think that medicine is a science. Medicine is not. Medicine is an art. So just like artists, focus in and decide what they want to do and what they want to express. The same thing is about medicine. So we detect what goes on in the body and try to figure out what is going on. So that's why it's the practice of medicine,
Mm-hmm.
because it depends on your training, what you have, the person who's doing the looking. So we are like detectives. I said no to my boss telling me to do the wrong thing. I was so stressed out, felt like I was going to have a second stroke. I had the uncontrollable hypertension and AFib. They asked me to resign or be fired. I chose to be fired. I felt like a weight was lifted, and I'm no longer getting respiratory illness.
Wow.
There you go.
Did you get another
Sometimes
job, sis?
walk-
Talk to me. Did you get another job? Where you what's going on with you now? Latanya said, Latoria said, I was recently informed I have elevated ANA. What's that?
That's a test for lupus. But
Oh,
lupus is a group of autoimmune diseases. So they have to do further testing to see what is causing your ANA to be elevated. And there are some things you can do that really is not lupus, but it may elevate your ANA. So that needs further testing. I am in Florida, but I see people on the
all,
all
all over
over
the world. So let me just tell you about Dr. Jones. So what she does is she has a practice where she offers
consultations.
yeah, health consultation. So if you get your blood work drawn and you get your test, she will sit down and have a hour-long consultation with you to go over everything. Not only go over everything, but make recommendations. She goes way deeper than a lot of our physicians do. And she's done it for a lot of women that I know personally, and she's done it for me as well, and has been able to just really help shave years off of people's lives, save their lives. So folks thought that they were dying, and now they are living full and healthy lives. I mean, thanks to Dr. Jones. Dr. Jones is literally saving people's lives from all over the world. So she does consultations. You go to askdrj.info, and you don't have to be local. She'll do a consultation with you over Zoom or
And
whatever
I
that.
see men too.
Where?
I see men also.
Yes, she sees everybody, men, women, black, white, don't matter, boys,
Right.
girls, all of it. And she'll sit down and she'll consult with you to give you the best advice to go the best direction. And not only that, she'll help. She's helped people find physicians in their area that can actually treat the functional doctors in the area. Yeah, so she's been really, really great. Um, of course, Deborah will when she said, "Thank you for answering my questions, Constance." Of course, and so that's what we're saying today. We're doing something a little bit different. Is we're asking Dr. Jones a question. If you have a question, even if you want to come on here, you can come on here and ask a question live with Dr. Jones. We would love to have you on here and just come ask a question live, or interact or engage with us live. So, Dr. Jones,
Mhm.
cortisol. We
Mhm.
talk about cortisol, and I mentioned how I could feel my cortisol levels increasing. Can you break down really the little hormone that can mess with our health and eventually our bank account too?
True. So cortisol, you cannot feel your cortisol increasing. You
I
feel
felt it.
you feel the symptoms of cortisol.
I felt the actual cortisol.
No, you do not. You feel epinephrine increasing. So they're both released. They're released from a little hormone, a little gland above your kidneys called the adrenal glands.
Okay.
And so when your body's stressed, that's the stressor hormone. It's there for protection because it puts your body in the overdrive, like something bad is going on. Get away from this. And it supports your body in the way where your body turns into the machine that is supposed to fight or flight, get away from it. And so, with that being said, it increases your heart rate. And so if you have high blood pressure, you have heart disease, you may start having arrhythmias like the AFib, one of the ladies talked about, and it'll make all of this worse.
Mhm.
It'll make your diabetes worse. Chronic stress makes your diabetes
It
numbers
makes everything worse, right?
thing worse.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes, it's a time for you to step back and see the big picture because cortisol also narrows your vision and it
Mhm.
makes you focus on self and what it's bothering you.
Mm-hmm.
And the body works that way as a protective mechanism because it's saying that danger, danger, Will Robinson. So you focus on getting away from that danger, but you don't see the big picture. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's why it's so important that you break that cycle when it happens. When you feel so overwhelmed, there are little things that you can do to stop that. Number
Yeah.
one, we can talk about that you could do that doesn't cost you any money. Nobody has a pill. You should be buying off Amazon or wherever. Little
You can
money.
buy off Instacart, by the way, in Florida, Dr. Jones. That's a little inside joke. She when she came to my house, she didn't know that you could do Instacart in Florida. So she thought Instacart. She thought Instacart was Amazon.
I
I
thought
don't
this
see that Instacart inside Amazon. But go
looked at me like, what? Why are you on the Amazon app?
trying to Instacart. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
So the first thing to do is box breathing. So if you're feeling stressed at work, everybody's getting on your nerve, go to the bathroom or walk outside. You just need 3 minutes. It is
Yeah.
called box breathing. And box because a box has 4 sides. So you inhale for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, blow it out for 4 seconds, and hold it again for 4 seconds. And repeat this like 3 cycles. What it does, it breaks the cycle of the cortisol and it lowers your heart rate and gets you back and breaks your mind from the stress and it helps you to go back.
So
Also,
what?
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Also, what?
Also, if you don't want to do the 4-4, then we have like a 4-6-8, or where you do 4 inhalations. You breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds, and that's 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. And then you hold it for 2 seconds, and then you blow out for 6 seconds. So the key is what calms you down is to blow out longer than you inhale. Because most people, when your heart rate increases, you go, so you start panting, and that's how you breathe more so than taking deep breaths. So when you take the deep breaths with those breathing exercises, it actually increases your oxygen, decreases your CO2, which you're blowing out. You're blowing out more, and it calms your system down.
I absolutely love what you're saying, Dr. Jones. Let me tell you why I love what she's saying. It's because most physicians are going to prescribe you medication. And she just told you what you could do for absolutely free. That's going to help you reduce your stress levels. She ain't telling you to get on no antidepressants, not initially. She's not telling you to do all of these other things. She's saying these are some natural things that you could do, ladies and gentlemen. We have a tendency, just people in general, I think, and I wouldn't even paint the broad brush to say black people, but I think people in general, they believe that whatever the doctor tells them, if the doctor says you need to take this or take that or take whatever, they're just going to take it blindly and not, they just don't know. We just believe whatever doctors tell us. And so most doctors are trained to give us medication. In fact, Dr. Jones, you said they were bonused a lot of times when they give us medication.
The insurance companies, because insurance companies control our medical practice now.
It's a travesty. And so for you to say, listen, these are some things that you could do right here, right now. You don't got to go get on no medication, but it's also like your mind. You got to like believe that this stuff works, because a lot of stuff is like in your mind. And when I talk about in your mind, like there's people that I know that have had really bad cases of like panic attacks and anxiety. I've never had that, and I'm so grateful because I know that that's something that people can't control, right? But they have these, and they think they're having a heart attack. And like, how does this happen? Number one. So I'm gonna ask you 3 questions. How does this happen? How, what triggers in their mind to make this happen? How do they stop it? How do they get there to, right? How do they get to a place where it's uncontrollable? And then how do you stop it in the future?
Okay, so well, it depends on what the panic attack is. So it's not as simple. So before I told you, medicine is not a science.
Right.
So one thing that works for one person does not necessarily work for the next person, because we are all our individual special people, ourselves, our bodies. Because we have different exposures, we have different genes, even from your family members. There are different exposures. There are different things we all eat. So just if you just have a panic attacks because you have anxiety, what we talk to people who have anxiety disorders is to know your triggers. because if you know your triggers, then you can kind of avoid your triggers. People who are overstimulating, you talked about how some people drain you. Those are people you need to take out of your life. You don't keep draining people in your life if they're causing you to have stress and breakouts.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing, you have to know yourself. You have to sit down and be cognizant of, because you got to weigh it. Okay, I can keep this job, even jobs. There are some jobs, if you are at the point where I don't want to go in, these people getting on my nerves, I just can't do this today, then maybe you need to walk away.
Mm.
And I understand the lady said she wanted them to fire her because that way she could probably get benefits
Mm-hmm. She can get unemployment.
as opposed to she just walks away.
But but going back to that, the pen, because I know somebody in my family who has them quite often, like at night, mostly at night, and they're sleeping, and then all of a sudden they think that they're having a heart attack. There's something going on in their mind, and I feel like they're trapped in their mind, and they just keep having them because they just refuse.
Is that really a panic attack? Because that's technically not how panic attacks happen.
How do they happen?
Not every night.
No, not every night. It happens at night. Every time it happens is at night.
Okay.
So, yeah.
There's something going on that's triggering.
Yeah.
Like, are they afraid? Were they ever broken in? Was there some violence involved with sleeping at night? Were they abandoned as a kid? It's really not that simple to just say it's because of this or that. You have to delve deep into what is that person thinking, because it's a perceived threat that caused the panic attack. It's an uncontrollable situation that they feel that they can't control. And then it goes into, and that's why the heartbeat. But there are medical conditions, there are other situations, there are foods that can precipitate the same type of symptoms. So you can't just sit back and say, oh, well, I'm having panic attacks. Well, are you really? Is it your thyroid? Have anybody ever looked at your thyroid? Are you having AFib? AFib is when your heart starts beating faster than it's supposed to be because there's something else in your heart that's sitting there telling it to beat faster than the normal node that tells it how fast to beat. There's like a alien in, I call it an alien, but we said it's an ectopic focus. So what it is, your heart beats as fast there's a certain box that tells us how fast to beat. And it's related to hormones and everything. Then you can have like some type of mass on one of your valves or something like that. And then your heart will pick it up and it was like, oh, it's there. And it'll tell it to beat faster. Or it could be electrolyte imbalance. So see, that's what I'm telling you. It's the art of it.
Right.
You don't know what it is, but they have to see someone. And the thing, we need to go back when somebody said they didn't trust doctors, and what you said earlier about not just taking what somebody tells you, a doctor tells you. If you are not comfortable with your answer, you have the right to ask for a second opinion from another doctor. You could go to askdrj.info and arrange to have a second opinion with me. And I'll sit down, take the time, look through all your stuff and tell you my opinion and what you can do to go further in all your choices. But you have to have an advocate. You either be your own advocate or get someone in your family member to help you. You do not have to accept everything people tell you. You wouldn't do it in business. You wouldn't do it if you go to the bank and you walk in and they tell you, oh, your account is overdrawn, and you have money in there. Why are we accepting that for our health?
So because when we're talking about panic attacks, I just want to know, like, what's the statistics in this? I just Googled it. It said about 11% of Americans experience at least one panic attack in a year. And roughly 3 to 5% meet the criteria for panic disorder, which is reoccurring panic attacks with ongoing fear about them happening again. Women tend to be more affected, about twice as often as men, and panic attacks often peak in early adulthood, but can happen at any age. So that's interesting to know because, there are a lot of people that suffer from this. And I'm interested in seeing, like, then go down further is what about in our community? because again, you think about the trauma that we face just being, Black, right?
Mhm.
And then you have the thing that the things that are passed down in our DNA. This just, it's like we have to be strong. We built for this. We know we gotta fight. And so we're just used to being strong until we get knocked flat on our ass. Remember that story? I don't know if you've seen the story about the lady who said, I'm tired, I'm gonna take a break. She had a restaurant or something like that. And everybody was like, nah, sis, make me some, make me some. She said, I'm gonna take a couple of days off, I'm gonna go to sleep.
And
She
she
went to
died,
sleep.
right?
Yeah, she was like, I don't know,
Died.
she was 50.
Right.
And so that's kind of the conversation around that was, we push ourselves so much, so much, so much that until, we drop dead and die.
Because you
And
don't know your boundaries. You have to stop it. You
yeah,
got to know your boundaries.
yeah,
You are important. You are
yeah,
not a mistake. We are here for a reason, for the whole. So when you grind too much one way and you're not balanced, you're going to drop dead.
and I must admit, I have been that person. First, nobody works harder than Constance Carter. That was my motto, and everybody used to say it. Some people still say it. I don't say that no more because I don't want to work hard. So I ain't speaking that in my life at all. I want to work smart, not hard. I get to spend more time with my children. I get to spend more time at home. I love it. I don't want to work hard, but I was that person. First one in the office, the last one home. Always thinking of work. I'd be up. I wouldn't sleep a full night. I'm always thinking about something different. Always, like my brain never shut off. So I didn't actually start getting a good night's sleep till I moved to the DMV. Honestly, I hadn't slept in 10 years all night. It was crazy. And one day I woke up and I was like, shit, I've been sleeping all night for the last, this is when I first moved here, for the last 6 months. What the hell happened? Oh, I'm here. I'm not there. And so
You remove yourself from the stress situation.
I did. But
And
some people like with the person with the panic attack, this is somebody in my family. I'm like, you have to see somebody. And they're like, I don't want to see anybody because I don't want to bring, and they refuse to tell me, but I don't want to bring up all those old things.
that's what it is. Then they're going to keep having panic attacks.
It's like, do you want the problem to get resolved? Well, I don't want to have to go down that road. And a lot of people are afraid of that as well, is they don't want to bring up the old stuff, the things that haunt them. Yeah.
Now you're at the crossroads.
Yeah.
You'd rather die. You'd rather suffer.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, the panic attacks just don't stop at panic attacks. So decisions are not going to be made well.
Right. And that's, and then so what happened as a result is
life.
They're stuck. Yeah. They've limited themselves from doing a whole lot, and they're stuck in their own mind.
Mm-hmm.
So if you say, I'll say, hey, won't you do this? They'd be like, nope. And I used to be like, no, come do it. And so now I'm like, I already know when this person says no, it's a no. It's a no. Right. So I'm not even going to try to convince, because I already know that they're not going to do it. They've just conditioned their mind to just not want to do anything. So I don't even try anymore. But it's change
that. It has to come from in here.
Yeah. It's really sad to watch, though, up close and personal. It's really sad to watch. But listen, you guys, Dr. Jones, somebody said, what's the website to connect with Dr. Jones? And you can go to askdrj.info. And ladies, let me tell you something. Dr. Jones is one of the smartest women that I know. And I'm so blessed that she is a part of all the things with Net 7 Collective. She's a part of our inner circle. And listen, we have women just like her, these brilliant, bold, Black women, just a network of women from all over the country. Now we have the Net 7 Nation. And the crazy thing is we have women from 20 different countries, Dr. Jones, 20 different countries that have expressed interest in being part of the Net 7 Nation, which is crazy. I'm like, I'm looking
at that language.
I know, right? So they speak English. They speak a little English.
Okay.
Countries in Africa. We have the Caribbean. We have like Switzerland and France and London. I mean, it's crazy. We were going through the list on Monday, and so we were so excited. And so we're getting ready to open the doors of Net 7 Nation on September 1st. And that's, you could be a part of an amazing group of women, because I think that's also something that we need in our communities, is a place where, a place where we can relax, a place where we can lay our burdens down, where we can take our capes off. Right? A safe place, and I think, something like that can do wonders for our stress level. In fact, when you were saying, talk about all the breathing and stuff, the exercises, those are things
Mhm.
that we do before we even get started, because we're centering ourselves and we're meditating and we're visualizing, because we know that we have a mission and we know how to get there. And so we know that that's the route and the path and how to get there. But that's also part of that holistic thing
Right,
that you were talking about. It's not
right,
just about the medication, it's about
right.
all these things. So Net 7 Collective, Net 7 Nation, if you're interested in Net 7 Collective or Net 7 Nation, listen, this is the time. There's nothing like being around women who see you, who support you, and who genuinely want to see you win. This is what Net 7 is all about. We celebrate each other, we build each other, we rise together. We're not just creating connections, we are creating legacy through wealth, through healing, through purpose, through real sisterhood. This is the nation. This is the movement. This is Net 7. And this can help you reduce your stress levels. So we want to give you guys another opportunity to ask Dr. Jones some questions, and we're going to get up out of here. But somebody said, I looked already for an alternative. I don't know what they're talking about, what alternative they're looking for. But ladies and gentlemen, your health is way more important than anything that you could think of. It's way more important than any amount of money that you can make. And what I see, especially when I see a lot of unhealthy people, a lot of us suffer with being overweight. I'm overweight. I'm definitely not. I'm about 15 pounds over where I need to be. And so we all suffer and we all can do better. And it pains me when I see people that are like suffering inside their bodies because, they're not making good choices. And there are things that you could do. You talked about the food piece that could actually contribute to the stress. So let's talk a little bit about like some of the things, because you've said before, I've heard you say before, your food is your medicine.
Right.
You don't always have to take pills. Sometimes it's just the way you eat. So what can we do food wise?
So food wise, what you could do is give up the meat. So animals are killed for your food, and when they're killed, their release is a stress hormone because they're not killed nicely. They're not, you know, they knock the pigs over the head or whatever. I don't know how they kill them, but someone killing you for food, you're going to be stressed out. And so the meat has cortisol and epinephrine in it. And then you go and you eat this meat that is full of cortisol, antibiotics, hormones to plump it up to make it larger. And so now you're adding all of that into your own chronic stress. So that's one way, is to go vegan, do a reset, and do plant-based eating. That's one way. Another way is, even if you can't go every day, go 2 or 3 days without meat, 1 day without meat, and it'll make a big difference. Another way to help with your stress is, if you're in a situation, I said to box breathe, also is to take and splash cold water on your face, and it'll reset you, and it'll stop.
Really?
Yeah, it'll decrease your heart rate. So all of these things are what we call vagus nerve activators. So your vagus nerve is the nerve that tells your body to calm down, stop it, start over.
Mm.
And so we do these little hacks to activate your vagus nerve, and it'll get you from being anxious and so stressed out and all of that. Like when people have panic attacks, we actually teach them how to do vagus nerve hacks. And one of them is like, laughter is the best medicine. And the reason why it does, because it activates your vagus nerve when you do that belly laugh. That's one of the way.
So
So
laughing. Wait. So wait,
laugh, you
laughing.
don't like that hard laugh you get?
I'm gonna be well for good for forever.
Yeah.
That's
So
all
when
I
you
like to
feel
do.
stressed out, keep some things that you have that make you laugh, that you, if you turn back, it'll bring up that type of laughter. And then you just look at it. Start. Another thing is to focus on gratitude. Just stop and then sit back and say, well, so like if somebody cuts you off in traffic, it pisses all of us off and we get mad and want to cuss them out. Instead of doing that, take your breath. If you have a cold, some water or whatever, you could put it on your neck and it'll calm you down and activate your vagus nerve. Or if you shouldn't have water splashing your face driving. But then what you could do is think of something funny or create, if you have pictures of your loved ones, of animals, of things in nature, that tends to calm you down.
That is so interesting because when I'm thinking about like just the gratitude piece, I think people get so caught up in their minds of all the things that are going wrong and all the things that are going
Right.
on. That, like if you take a moment, because
Just
this
take
is
a moment.
yeah, one of the things I do when I wake up, I always talk about these trees because I ain't used to being in the woods. Like I'm literally in the woods. I wish I could show y'all my back, but I have all these trees and then there's deer back there and it's just really beautiful and it's a nice little piece of land. And that for me is just like that's a reminder that God, I'm so grateful. God, I thankful. Thank you, God. I don't have to petition God for anything. I ain't got to ask him for because he already knows what I want. But just being in gratitude, it changes everything.
Yeah. It changes your outlook.
Yeah, when you stop focusing inward and you start focusing on, I got these 4 awesome and trifling ass kids. God, thank you. Like I got this, great house that needs a new roof. But listen, God, thank you. I got this car that I don't want, but I can drive it wherever I need. Thank
At
you.
least you have a car. Because how many people are sitting
Right,
aside or
right.
waiting for the bus or can't even afford bus fare? Or
Yeah,
they have, we used to call it Pat and Joe, your
yeah,
feet.
yeah,
You know,
exactly. Exactly.
some
So if you
people can't.
keep that focus on, all the things that we do have and we are blessed with, that could actually extend our lives. Think about that. I
Yes.
also was told that just simply stretching,
Stretching.
and then I told my parents that
Yes.
like even if you
So,
don't want to walk, just stretch.
mhm.
You know what I mean? That will extend. There was a lady who lived to be 100 something years old. She stretched every day of her life,
Yes.
all the way up into her 90s. So just doing small things. I think small things. Because I think what happens is people they get these big to-do lists and then they just don't do anything. They get paralyzed.
Right.
I ain't gonna do nothing because it's just too much. It's overwhelming. And I think that's what prevents people from just trying to make that one step towards that. You don't have to tackle it all in one whop, right? You could just do little things. But Dr. Jones, we're gonna get up out of here. I know you got to go see some patients, but let me ask you this. What's one habit you believe everybody should commit so that they can prevent stress or burnout before it even starts?
Learn to say no.
Ooh, and no is a complete sentence.
And no is a complete sentence. You are who you are. You know what you can handle. Don't let people push you to the end. If somebody asks you to do something and you really know you don't have time or it's going to get into your sleep time, if it's going to get, and say no. Because sleep is important. Rest time.
What about the people who cannot fall asleep? What are some things that they can do to go to sleep?
No.
So
Say
what
no
practices?
to your phone.
But
No
like
to
to
your,
clear their mind so that they can rest because people just aren't getting rest. They're going to sleep, but then they can't.
because they still connected. These are the worst things that could have ever. They have done studies that since we had social media and all the streaming and all of that, we've had more cases of anxiety, suicide, and panic attacks
Eesh.
because we're constantly connected.
Mm,
Unconnect, an hour before bed, don't answer your phone, put on the side. That's why there is a do not disturb.
that's
Do
true.
not disturb. Turn the TV off. Have a conversation with your loved one. If
Yeah,
nobody's there, have a conversation with yourself.
yeah.
If you have a pet, have a conversation with your pet. Pets actually are good
You
for,
talking to your dog, Dr. Jones? You talking to your dog?
well, I don't, it's my daughter's dog.
You talking to the dog?
He's a New York Yorkie. He's not in Florida.
You want okay? I was gonna say you one of them ones that be talking to your dog.
Yes, I do when he comes to visit.
Lord. Oh Lord, I ain't even no dog person, and I got a dog. And I don't have a dog.
But then talk to the grasshoppers or whatever you like.
Lord Jesus, you one of them. Okay, I get it. I get it. I mean, you know, or talk to yourself. But it's
It's okay to talk to yourself. You may find out something.
the thing about it too is, you know, when you speak life into yourself, whether you believe it or not, if you say the things, then they will eventually come true.
Right.
And then you'll eventually start to believe it, and you'll feel it in your mind, your body, your soul, and your spirit. So you, even if you're not there yet, if you're already speaking it, like that is huge. And we really have to get to a place, ladies and gentlemen, that we got to stop grinding. We got to stop going so hard, because at the end of the day, what's the purpose? What profits us the whole world? And then we lose everything because we lose our lives. The grind is not supposed to grind you down. Your health is your greatest asset, and your wealth can only go so far as your energy can carry you. So I say, choose to protect your peace, guard your body, value your rest the same way you value your money. Because if you want to be rich, your rich life is one that's healthy enough to live. And it ain't worth living if you can't enjoy it. Now, did I drop a bar? Mic drop, baby. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's Dr. Jones is always so dope and so amazing to have here. I love it when she comes, and you know the interaction that you guys give when she's here. I absolutely love it, because we need this. It pleasures me so much, because it lets me know that Black folks are taking their health serious, and that's what we need to do. There's so many ways to close this wealth gap and come together, but we got to be healthy to do it. And they have like, you know, they have places, you know, they have these cancer alleys in different areas, and there's so many environmental things that are going against us. So we need to be proactive in trying to change things so that we don't succumb to a lot of the environmental problems that cause our early death. And so that's the reason why Dr. Jones is so important with everything she does. Make sure you go to askdrj.info. Ask Dr. J, put the banner up, .info. There we go. Go to askdrj.info to schedule your consultation, ladies and gentlemen, because this could be the matter of life or death. Dr. Jones is really out here saving lives, y'all. So, Dr. Jones, we're going to see them next Thursday. All right?
Okay. Next Thursday.
All right. We'll see y'all next. Oh, I don't know.
Oh, is that ABS?
Yeah, A, B, and C. I think I'm leaving on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm leaving in the morning or so I'll let you know, because I am flying on Thursday, but maybe, yeah, I'll let you know.
Okay.